Frank, thanks so much for taking the time out to chat, man. This is actually a cool interview for me because you're the first person I ever interviewed, and you're now the first person that I'm interviewing multiple times. So I'm really pumped for this.
I feel like I've achieved my day already, and I've only been out of bed for half an hour.
No, but I'm really excited for this. I'm really excited for the tour you've got coming up for Good Things. This is all stuff I'm going to kind of get into. I'm hoping these interactions become a trend where you're kind of like the first person I get to interview in person. That would be killer. I'm trying to hook something up for Good Things, and you were on my short list, funnily enough. So I was trying to make that happen, but we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah. I would like you to see that happen.
Well, fingers crossed. We've put all our applications in, so I'm hoping we hear something soon. Before we get too deep into the reason for the interview, which is going to be the song, something I want to talk about since the last time we talked was the No Effect show that you did in California. That must have been a crazy experience.
Yeah. It was. I mean, I was very honored to be a part of it, and Mike actually asked me to be a part of it early on, and I said, dude, I can't justify it was in between tours, and it was like, I can't justify flying from London to LA for one show. Do you know what I mean? I can't do it. So I wasn't going to do it. And then I was having a conversation with an old friend of mine who I used to tour with many years ago. And I told him that I wasn't going to go and do the show. And he just looked at me and was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's the last ever NoFX show. Get on a fucking plane. So I did. He talked me into it, and then they were very welcoming to me, and I was honoured to be there. It was very emotional to be part of the last ever NoFX show. They're one of my favourite bands of all time. It was a beautiful thing. The other thing with that show, they did the thing at the end. I'm sure you've seen the footage. They had 41 guest guitarists for the end of the Decline. They were supposed to have 42, but I was in the wrong place. And the reason I was in the wrong place was that you can watch the show from the side of the stage, but that's just a shit place to watch a show from. And it's their last ever gig. So I was like, fuck this. I'd gone out into the middle of the crowd, and I was watching the show from the middle of the crowd, and then suddenly went, wait a second, I'm supposed to be over there now. And then I was just like, fuck it, who cares, man? I don't, my ego's not sort of so inflated that I have to be on stage to enjoy a show, so I missed the grand finale in terms of performance, but it was an emotional day. Yeah,
for sure. Should have just ripped a solo in the middle of the crowd.
Well, I didn't have a guitar with me, unfortunately.
Boo. Well, the last time we did talk as well, excuse me, was in the lead up to Undefeated coming out.
Yes.
When we were talking, you said specifically you were resisting the urge to pull people off the street and come and listen to the record. So since it's now out and now people have listened to it, how's the reception been? Are you happy? Like, run me through how you're thinking.
I mean, I think, this is obviously not my first rodeo. And I think that every time you put a new piece of work out into the world, there's a mixture of excitement and concern. It's like, are people going to agree with my judgment of this record's worth? And also, curiosity, which songs are people going to like, and are people still going to care about what I do? But I mean, actually, this has been my most successful record in a while. So that's nice, both in terms of, sales and streams and all that kind of nonsense, but also and in a way that matters much more to me, like the shows have been bigger than they have in quite a while, which is a lovely thing, and to walk on stage and play a new song to an audience who I know a lot of whom are waiting for Songs Off Album 2, but you play Songs Off Album 10 and they sing along with those ones as well. It's just like, I mean, it's kind of like Few more than anything else. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, the plan is still working. There's always some surprises. Do you know what I mean? There's always some songs that I think are going to blow everyone away and people are like, yeah. And then there are some songs where you're like, I don't know if people like this, and everyone goes, fuck. So, but broadly speaking, it's been fantastic,
Yeah, for sure. So the reason, hang on, I've lost where I was. Hang on. I got so wrapped up in what you were talking about. I fell off my sheet. So the song that we're actually wanting to talk about is a re-release, I should say, of Show People that you've done with Ben from Slowly. I just want to talk on the song specifically before I talk about the collaboration. Was there any specific stories that you had about what inspired that song? Because that's a song about the successes and failures of being a touring musician and being away from home. Was there any kind of like stirring moment that you were like, I want to write about this thing, and that's what became this song?
Not, I wouldn't, not quite specific moments, but I mean, essentially, I wrote that song very quickly. I mean, I don't have a set kind of songwriting process, and sometimes a song is pulling teeth and takes months and months, if not years and years. And with that one, I was on tour in Germany with some friends of mine, in a band called the Do Nots, and I was just, it was partly a post-pandemic thing, you know. It was like the touring world, you know, waking up on a tour bus, sort of wandering around blearily trying to find catering, tripping over a flight case, you know, finding a nest in the corner of a green room, all that kind of stuff. I love it, and it's what I've done with my whole adult life. And then we had a couple of years at least of not being able to do it. And then suddenly here I was back in that world again, and I was just kind of ecstatic that day. It wasn't the first day back or anything like that, but just for whatever reason, I woke up that morning and just felt great about where I was. And this song just started popping into my head before I'd even actually got out of my bunk on the bus. And this happens from time to time. I sort of opened the curtain and was like, no one fucking talk to me. I have an idea. Shut up. Shut up. You know, someone give me a fucking guitar right now. And my band and crew know me well enough now to everyone's just kind of like, okay. And,
Respect the process.
And I ran into a dressing room and I had the whole thing in about 45 minutes, which is big for me. I mean, there was a moment in time when the whole album of Undefeated might have been kind of, it was looking at being a concept album at one point. It's not, and we're all very glad about that. But like, you know, it was going to be kind of a conversation between me now and me when I was younger. And that song definitely kind of fits that mold, you know, because as well as being a celebration of the whole culture of traveling entertainment at any level and of any type, it's also, you know, there is a reach out in that song to me when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, you know, my teachers, my friends, my parents, everybody told me, don't do this, you shouldn't do this, it's a dumb idea, you won't succeed, it's déclassé, it's not a thing you should pursue. And I fucking did it anyway, and I'm proud of that. But it's also, it's a reach out to that kid to be like, dude, it's gonna be good. You know, it's not always gonna be easy, but it's gonna be good. You know, it's worth pursuing. You know, so there is and whether or not that then leads on to reaching out to anybody else, that's not really for me to say. But like, don't worry, kid, you're gonna show people. I like that line a lot. You know.
Yeah. Sorry, everything's breaking on me. I don't know what's going on. Now, obviously, with the song coming out and doing the re-release of it, that came with a cool collaborator in Slowly's Ben Stewart. I know the story of how this kind of came across, or how they came across your timeline, I guess we want to say, with the Turn It Around mention. But how did the actual collaboration come about?
Well, I mean, it was reasonably simple. I should preface this by saying that we've done a lot more collaborating in broadly on this record than I've done on previous records. I feel like the whole thing of collaboration as an idea is something that like the hip hop world figured out a long time ago, and lots of people in the more quote unquote rock world were like, why would we do that? And then now we're all like, oh, wait a minute, that's a really good idea. We should do that. So we're playing catch up as per fucking usual. But yeah, there was the whole, the mention, you know, put them on my radar, and I dove into their stuff and really loved it. And then, you know, I think somebody at the label suggested that we could do something. And I got given an email address, and I went, hello. And Ben is an absolute sweetheart. He's a really genuinely lovely man, and immediately got back and was like, I'm so game for this. Just tell me what I need to do. And, you know, I was like, well, we can discuss it. And he was like, no, you just tell me and we'll do it your way kind of thing, which was nice. And then it was a really easy process. You know, he did some takes, he sent them over. He was a little kind of like, is this okay? And I was like, are you fucking high, dude? This is amazing. And it just felt really good. And I think the reason, I mean, it's partly he's a great singer. You know, he's a wonderful performer. He's got a great voice. But I really felt like he got what the song was about, you know, and understood the message and the emotion of the song. And I'm not really supposed to say this, but I think I kind of prefer the version with him on it. And there's a part of me that wants him to just sing the whole damn thing, and I'll stand in the crowd.
Yeah. I think the addition of his vocals on it really, like, it adds a layer of depth to it. And not only that, but the harmonies on the song as well. I think the first time I heard it, because before I listened to the new version, I went back and listened to the original just to be like, okay, cool, this is what it sounded like originally, and then went back and then listened to the re-record. And I don't know, just his harmonies coming in on the chorus, or like in the middle part of the song, they just kind of hit in a different way, which I think makes it all like just sound really good, like even better.
Yeah,
than
I
what he put out.
mean, I don't want to sound like I'm being an overly retiring little flower, but I mean, I think he has a better singing voice than I do, and it's really nice to hear him kind of like go for it. Do you know what I mean? There's just some real kind of, he's got that quality to his voice that really just takes off at a certain point, and I'll confess to a little jealousy, but mainly I'm flattered.
Yeah. Now, obviously, with the shows coming up, is it possible we could be getting an appearance from Ben at one of the shows?
That was the original plan. Unfortunately, Slowly Slowly has since had an offer of a tour in the UK, I believe. So I think we're literally swapping.
Crossing ships in the night.
Yeah, we're going to high five as we go through Singapore airport. It's going to be great. No, I mean, it's not this time around, but I mean, it's worth saying that this trip to Australia that we have coming up, and I'm getting on a plane tomorrow morning, is kind of, is a trip to Australia, but I'm not really thinking of it as like the Undefeated tour for Australia. We will be back for more in good time, and I genuinely don't know when that's going to be, but it's going to happen.
No, I'm very excited. Obviously, I'm just excited for more you live. I'm just excited for more music. Everything I think you touch turns to gold, and it's, again, I've only become a fan in the last year, which I funnily enough worked out. The show you did that I came across you at was 3 days ago. 3 days ago last year. So it's this kind of nice little wraparound of like, November 24th was when you were in Australia doing at the Brisbane show. And a year later, two interviews
and that Brisbane show.
Yeah.
I probably said this last time around, and I'm honestly not making it up. That Brisbane show was the best show of that tour.
You did say that on the last interview, because I was like, "Oh, stop it!" But the energy of that show was crazy too. Like I said this to you on the last interview, but the first song you opened with, I was blown away with the energy that came off that crowd. Like immediately, it was just people were literally waiting for it. You walked out, you opened up, and it was just 2 hours of just frenetic energy from the crowd, and then you were giving it back just as much, and it was this perfect like synchronicity of energy, which was just awesome to see.
Which is my central aim in life, so I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, well, I'll leave it there because we don't have much time together, because I know we've got a block of interviews to go through. But one thing I do want to say is the Million Dead announcement has not been long out.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very excited for that. Yeah. I'm really pumped, because after we talked, I think you mentioned Million Dead, and I'm like, cool, I'll check him out. And I fell in love immediately with the first record. So I'm fingers crossed that can make an appearance. So it'll just be, you may as well just move, because the guys in the band said they were going to move here on the last tour. So you might just move here with them.
Well, maybe we shall see. I mean, I'm very excited for the Million Dead stuff. But how far outside the UK that is going to go is an open question right now, but there's more shows coming. We've announced one so far, but we're not going to do all of the work of rehearsing and getting to know each other again and burying hatchets to just play one show. Let's say that.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll just have to make the trip over. I think that's probably the plan.
I mean, it's not a terrible idea.
Perfect. Well, as I said, 11 days time. I'm going to be seeing you again at Good Things. I literally cannot wait. Congrats as well 3,000 shows is going to be upcoming soon. Fingers crossed I can talk to you about that another time and that, but thanks for taking the time out, man. I really appreciate having these conversations with you. Amazing to chat to.
Yeah, definitely, man. Dude, anytime, man. It's always good to chat.